Welcome back to Just My Opinion with Kyle Bowles, and I am still Kyle Bowles. Hope everybody's doing well out there. We appreciate any and all feedback, and give us a like and subscribe to our YouTube show. And just glad to be here for another week. And it's that time of year, you can smell it. It's football season, which means all us grown men and teenage boys and women of all ages are playing the fun game of fantasy football. So we're going to talk a little fantasy today. I've played for a long time, and I enjoy it. I look forward to it. It certainly changes the way you look at games. It makes the red zone a must, whereas you used to maybe watch your complete game. Now you're on the red zone watching to see what's happening inside the 20-yard line, because that's where your fantasy points are coming from. Before we dive into the players, we can talk a little bit about even what happened just this week. We've only played 2 games, and Jordan Love got hurt last night. And that's a big blow, and I don't know how severe it is, but he could not, he was writhing in pain. He couldn't get off the field under his own power. They said he was walking a little better later. But, every pick you make of these things comes with risk, because there's that uncontrollable element of injury. And so Jordan Love, who's expected to have a monster year and just came off getting a big old contract, for the time being is a big question mark, and we'll see how that plays out. But we're only 2 games into the season, and already developments like that. So speaking of Jordan Love, he is a quarterback, so we'll dive into the quarterbacks, get them right off the bat. I think the perennial number one at quarterbacks has got to be Josh Allen, the ability to throw the ball down the field. Maybe lacking a few weapons. Diggs is gone, Davis is gone. But look for Dalton Kincaid to have a big year. Perhaps Curtis Samuel steps up. But I still think it's a high-powered offense, and the trigger on that offense is Josh Allen. So between his rushing and throwing abilities, you're getting the full package and plenty of additional points that other quarterbacks aren't going to give you. Jalen Hurts, in a lot of the publications, they have him as second on the list. I'm a little more down on Jalen Hurts than I was. He threw some poor passes last night. They may have won, but man, he threw a couple ducks, and I don't know. There just seems like there's something missing. He's got the weapons, obviously with Smith and with Brown, now Saquon Barkley and Dallas Goedert as a tight end. You have options all over the field. I don't know. They scored some points and they won the game, but something didn't look right to me last night. So I'm going to give Jalen Hurts a big question mark for this year, even though he's had some productive seasons the last couple. Lamar Jackson, we saw him Thursday night. Played a great game. Came down to that wild play at the end with Isaiah Likely's foot, toe or toenail or whatever it was, that barely touched out of bounds to negate that last-second touchdown that would have made it 27-26. Would have been interesting, too, to see if they went for 2 on the road, or they just played to tie that game up and go to OT. But, Lamar Jackson gives you a little bit of everything. Not big on his ability to throw the ball down the field with accuracy. But it looks like, to me, the addition of Derrick Henry, even though he looked a little bit plodding the other night, gives Jackson the ability. And I kept mentioning, Collinsworth did, about how it gives you 2 guys going in 2 directions that you got to key on. So if Henry takes off one way and you're a linebacker, you may step that way, and all Lamar has to do is pivot and go the other way, and you've lost that race, because if he gets any kind of step, much less a full step on you, you're done. So he still has the ability to beat you with his legs. His accuracy of his throws short and midfield look pretty good to me, but downfield he's never really had that Patrick Mahomes kind of thing where he can connect guys down the field. And speaking of Patrick Mahomes, he would be my next guy. He's literally, to me, I don't know, fantasy football is different than real football. He's obviously the GOAT right now as far as quarterbacks in real football, and, winning championships and being the man. But in fantasy football, Patrick Mahomes puts up big points as well. His sneaky attribute is his feet. He uses his feet to get first downs, more so as they get into the playoffs. But he is a sneaky, deceptive runner that gets big chunks of yards when he does choose to tuck the ball and run. And obviously he's a great quarterback with Worthy now. I think that gives him 2 receivers that he can throw the ball to, and Hollywood Brown will be back soon. And obviously Rashee Rice is off to a great start. The guy, I think, has a great upside. We'll just have to see how his off-the-field troubles play out as far as disciplinary action. Then, of course, there's Josh Richardson. Excuse me, just talking football. Richardson, the Colts. He got hurt last year, hurt his shoulder. Anthony Richardson, and he got hurt running, which is one of his big strengths. So does he dial it back a little bit, be protective of himself, and long term keeps him in the games where they're not playing their backup half the year? So does he change his style? I don't know. It looks like to me he's claiming that he's going to play the same way. If the opportunity to run is there, he's going to run, as it is one of his weapons and superpowers. So it'll be interesting. This is a guy that could really, really blossom into a great fantasy player along the lines of Josh Allen. Getting your he points with his legs and his arm. C.J. Stroud, man, he just blossomed last year. He really, really he looks the part. He threw the ball down the field. He threw the ball short. Played responsibly, like did not turn the ball over. Played well in high pressure situations in the playoffs. And with Stephon Diggs, they have so many weapons now that you got to think that this could be a huge year for C.J. Stroud. Year 2, year 1 was amazing. And the last quarterback I'm going to touch on, as far as I think in that upper tier, is Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's had a propensity to get nicked up a little bit, but Joe Burrow's a bad dude. Very accurate, throws the ball down the field. Has Chase, has Higgins. I think it's a team that could really sneak up on teams this year. It's kind of like I think everybody thought they were going to be, a contender for the title last year or two, and they've been in the mix. Then Burrow goes down. I think this is a team that might be getting overlooked a bit, and I think this could be one of the best offenses in football. They've got Moss, they've got Chase Brown in the backfield, Joe Mixon gone, but we'll see how he does in Houston. A couple dudes I think that might be worth mentioning for quarterbacks. Jaden Daniels, man, the upside here is unbelievable. The guy has big legs, big arm, and seems to be throwing the ball very accurately. And he too has some weapons. I think he's got a bright future, and I think it could take off this year. I don't think he's a guy that's going to be, starting slow. I think he's going to come out of the gates rolling. Jared Goff is overlooked a lot, even though he makes big money. Man, he's got St. Brown, he's got Williams, he's got Laporta, he's got Gibbs, he's David Montgomery. You can go on and on and on. This guy can look everywhere, and there's weapons, but he throws the ball well. And they were very close to the Super Bowl last year, and they gave the Chiefs a pretty good whip in Game 1 last year. So Jared Goff is a guy to me that's really hitting his prime right now, and will put up gigantic numbers this year. We'll take a short break. We'll come back, talk running backs and wide receivers. This is just my opinion. Cowboys.